Hello and welcome. I am Mila and I am doing non-combat interviews. Today I am interviewing Rowena Dumas, a Paragon Color. And would you like to say anything specific about yourself before we start?
Um, so my name is Rowena Dumas. I've been in Amtgard since pre-COVID, about 2018, and just been having fun being Blackfire Pass since I got started in 2018. Um, yeah.
So I'm just going to ask some introductory questions real quick. So how has your role in Amtgard evolved over time since you began in 2018?
Oh, it's definitely evolved a lot over time, actually. So when I first got started back in 2018, we were just very sparse amp garters. We would mostly be involved in Origins in 2018, and like sparsely we would attend Amp Guard down at Blackfire Pass when we would come down to visit Columbus because we were originally up in Medina. And then in 2019, we got an opportunity to come down to Columbus, and then I started participating more frequently. And about every week, we would come to Blackfire Pass because it was right near the home we were renting. Um, and I didn't quite hit my groove with AmpGuard for until after COVID. Um, I had to step up as regent during COVID for Blackfire Pass. And that's when I kind of started to hit more of a groove because I was able to do some virtual crafting nights. And then I was regent again as we came back from COVID. And it was actually stepping into that regent position that got me more connected with the park and more active. So it was finding my own space in the arts and crafts and the role playing I did at Origins. And it sort of led to me coming out of my shell a bit more and then come fully getting back into Amtgard because prior to COVID, I had actually been looking to turn away from Amtgard and into other hobbies I had. Um, but due to COVID, that led to a shutdown for everybody on a lot of things. So,
So,
uh, yeah.
do you see that's actually really interesting, by the way, especially with Origins. I didn't realize
Mhm.
that you were tied so closely with Origins, so that's really
Oh
cool.
yeah, Origins was what got me into Amtgard.
Oh, cool. Right on.
Mhm.
So, and do you see yourself more as a mentor, leader, performer, crafter, or something else?
Um, I would say I'm a crafter and a support person. I identify myself mostly as a support person. Um, and I will provide support to people who are in leadership positions who say need especially when it comes to origins or cratting events or when I am in monarchy positions or at park, I tend to go around and provide support to other people if somebody needs something done, somebody needs something picked up, somebody needs an NPC character. The role playing was where I got a lot of my first chops, and then crafting. Um, and then secondly, I see myself as a crafter. Um, and I've taught a few crafting classes for crochet. Um, so that some people have told me I'm a mentor. Uh, I guess. uh, where I've helped some people get into the game and told them a little bit about it, at least from the like service side and stuff like that. So, and role play side.
Yeah, I can definitely see that side as well because you've offered to like teach me a bunch of stuff, especially with photography. So
Mhm.
I can get how people say that, yeah. So, okay, now I'm going to ask some general non-combat questions.
Yeah,
Yeah. So what do you do in Amtgard that isn't fighting? I know you went over this
yeah,
a little bit
yeah.
before, but
So I'm in office. I've been regent at our park a few times. I've now regent at Midgard. I've been regent at the kingdom level. So I do a lot of ANS support. Um, I've done, and when I was regent, I worked a lot on trying to teach people how to judge. That is, you asked about mentorship previously. That was something I was trying to help people figure out was how, in the middle of trying to teach myself how to judge better, I was, in the end, teaching other people how to standardize judging a little bit better. Um, so I judge A&S stuff. I craft a lot. Do a lot of. I'm pretty well. I'm trying looking around here. Oh, there it is. I was like, I know there's something that I've done. I do a lot of my. I'm not pretty much known for my crochet work.
That is so cool.
Um, and so if I'm not volunteering at an event, I'm usually seen with my camera, f doing photography at the on the field. One of my nicknames at I think it was June event last year was somebody called me the photographer, and it was super cute. Or I'm seen with a crochet hook and I'm sitting on the sidelines crocheting. So otherwise, I'm just helping out. I'll help at Gate or I'll help Jamie at the Faye Rain at the hydration station or you know people need things, fetch it.
So with these things, do you feel like you found your own niche inside of Amtgard? Or do you consider yourself
Yes.
more open with your paths or where you might go?
I ultimately consider myself more open. I like to be a jack of all trades because I find that to be ultimately more useful. But yet at the same time, I've definitely found a niche with the crochet and the photography. So I definitely stick to those two things primarily. But yet if I'm there and somebody needs a volunteer to do something, camera goes down and I do that. So it's just, you know,
Yeah.
uh, Nemia had needed an and a non-com crat assistant, so I volunteered, and I also wanted to get some more experience doing not Origins uh, cratting experience. So
Yeah, right on. And if someone wants to get more involved in the non-combat aspects of Amsgard without fighting, where would you start or suggest they start?
I would first ask them if they have an artistic or science interest, because that's one of the easiest ways is to start pursuing art of some kind. Whether it be leatherworking, sewing, crocheting. That tends to be the easiest way. The other thing I would ask them is, okay, do you want to still participate? The other option is, do you want to participate on the field in some way, but not be a combatant? Because we do need reefs. We, and that's if you are interested in learning the rules and remembering the rules. We also still need bean counters, people who help keep track of score, who keep track of time. And you don't need to remember all the rules for that. Doing that's easy. We also need NPCs on the field who are not combat oriented at times, and you just take on a role. And doing that's really fun.
Mhm.
Um, so, um, so if they're interested in either of those two things, that's where I would suggest they start. And then I would also ask if they're interested in learning about how to do an office and helping run the park and make the park a better place. Because in my opinion, that's what park monarchy is about. It's about supporting the club and making your park in particular a better place to be and making sure it functions so everybody else can have a good time.
Um, so I'd like to actually ask you a little bit more about your service experience. And
Sure.
then after that we'll delve into a little bit more of the ANS.
Sure.
Awesome. So what's the most challenging or fun part of coordinating different things for an event?
Oh boy. It depends on the event. Um, so the like Origins is a very different beast from n like regular Kingdom for Kingdom and Midgard, etc. I need people to realize that. Um, People don't really understand how different it is. Origins is Conventions are an all year commitment to set up. because they require, at least if you're doing a week-long demo like we are, because there requires so much coordination between us and the convention staff with getting the room and stuff like that. Usually the autocrat handles most of that, and most of the pressure is on them throughout the entire year. That's been mostly my husband. But what I have done with that, that's been a challenge, has been get it as the RP. I've been the RP crat for Origins. And kind of one of my biggest challenges is when, let me see, when we've had, let's see, oh, now I go blank. Oh, probably when the convention center closed our room. We have a big room last year.
Mhm.
So it was it's honestly when you just you have this at but you have this at any event. It's the key is when you have unexpected changes and you have to pivot on the fly. There we go. That's how I can translate it to any event. So for Origins last year, we found our big room had these collapsible walls that were open during the day. And for my tavern that went on at 9 o'clock at night, those that wall would close at 10. And my event was supposed to go on until midnight,
Oh,
which meant people would no longer see me and my event that was going on. Versus last year, people would see that people were in my tavern having like playing games, or for another hour at least, you would still see people on the field because we kept the battlefield open until 10. Um, and the so that year, what we had to try to do was we made some signs and we put them on the walls saying, "Hey, tavern this way, more fighting this way," and we tried to just direct people down the hall. Um, so to the doors that would be open to let them in on the side at the Columbus Convention Center. We still had a little bit of reduced attendance, but it actually didn't impact us nearly as much as we thought we did. So the signs did definitely help bring people in at night, and people remembered us from last year having the tavern, and so we had to pivot just a little bit that way. And then this year we know to likely expect that again this year, because we know why they're doing that and we know to expect it. So we're going to actually make some changes to our layout so that we know, uh, so that people expect to have the gate where due to the walls being closed. So we're not going to have to change it and stuff like that. So, but those are definitely your challenges where something just changes due to circumstances beyond your control and you have to pivot on the spot.
yeah. I know if I were in that position, I would be pretty like all over the place.
Yeah, we were very much like, oh crap, no one's going to come to Tavern because we had some pretty big events planned for Tavern. That's when we do our tea dueling. That I had a couple of other small games set up that were people were gonna come and have fun with. And if nobody showed up because the wall was shut and they couldn't see us, that was gonna be a problem. Um, but we were able to at least mitigate that a bit. And by our numbers, it was like, yeah, Tavern actually did pretty well. So, um,
Oh, that's great though. So, what would you like to see more of at events?
um, I honestly would like to see more support of the arts and sciences and more support of role play. I really don't, and I'm not sure quite how to do that. I feel like we've tried to get more people who are fighty involved in the role play aspect. Um, and nothing's quite hit yet. And I don't know if it's just we haven't struck the right themes or struck the right chords. Um, and it could just be we need to just keep trying stuff. One of the things I'm really hopeful for is that bringing back the Rose store will help us keep more volunteers, which is another topic entirely that is another thing I think needs more support at events, is trying to get more volunteers. Um, but
That was actually my next question was about volunteers and volunteer support. So please
Yeah.
continue.
Okay, so we'll go right into that is honestly the biggest thing we need for volunteers is we need incentives other than roses, the rose awards, because people get tired of volunteering out of the goodness of their heart. One of the big things I was a proponent of is I've been involved in other activities where volunteers get discounts after they volunteer for Keep. I know this is a thing Keep does where they volunteer so many hours and then you get reimbursed. Um, I really think that's something we should look into more heavily. I've brought this up at a few BOD meetings where it's like, hey, if you're bringing up this other idea that's going to reduce costs in one area, why not spend costs on that would it be on this idea on reimbursing volunteers for so many hours? But um, you know, that sometimes happens, that sometimes doesn't. The there's resistance to that idea for a few different reasons, as I was told in that meeting. So, um, and I understand some of the reasons, but I think some of the reasons could be mitigated if we just had standardization, um,
Hmm.
which seems to be very difficult in Amtgard. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
so, but for volunteers, I really hope that bringing the Rose Store back will be a great way to incentivize volunteering, um, because we just really need something else to incentivize volunteering and nothing. If you can't incentivize it with discounted tickets, you've got to incentivize it with some other tangible reward.
Yeah, and I 100% agree about the discounts. I would really love if Kingdom did that.
Hmm.
Um, similar to Keep, but
Yeah, we
my
we need
final
something.
event services related question. What, when providing services for events, do you prefer to be in a background role or in a role that interacts more with event participants, like NPCing, RP?
I like both. Um, I I can easily go in between. The biggest thing I don't want to be is autocrat. I don't like to have all the responsibility and for making decisions. I like to support and enact those decisions. I don't like to be the person to make them.
Yeah, I could get where you're coming from
So,
with that. Autocrating is
yeah.
it's
I think I could do it. I think I definitely could do it, but I don't wanna. I'd rather just be the support behind that.
so alrighty, now we're going to switch over to A&S.
Hmm.
So you mentioned that you do crochet and photography, right?
Yes.
Are there any other arts and crafts that you do, or you make awards, don't you? Or
What
I thought you did.
I have made a couple of awards, yeah. A few of them have been uh they've been photography based or crochet based. So I crocheted a dragon for someone's eighth dragon. I crocheted a bouquet of roses for someone's eighth rose. I crocheted letters and then sewed them onto a tapestry for a ninth rose.
Ooh.
So I like to kind of combine the couple of talents I have. I'm not like the best sewer, but I can at least like hand sew a little bit. Um, a let's see. I can paint a little, but I haven't tried like doing that for awards. I also do latch hook, and I really
Oh,
want to make somebody a latch hook award.
that's
Um, so and Sparkles gave me a tip for designing stuff, so I'm like, ooh, yes, okay, now I have an idea of how I could actually sketch out what I want a latch hook for an award and do a latch hook award. So
that's so cool. Wow. I didn't realize you were into latch hook too.
yeah, I got back into it. There was somebody, oh, it was that March event 2 years ago where we had the Final Fantasy theme, and somebody had made latch hook kits.
Ah,
And I was
yeah.
like, oh my God, I haven't done this for years. And now I've started going to thrift stores and grabbing latch hook kits, and they're just waiting to be used.
That is so cool. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
And
Little
actually
crystals
using
like
latch
black
hooks
magic.
during crochet is pretty easy. But yeah, latch hooks are actually also really handy in crochet when you're trying to attach hair,
Hmm.
um, because of how you put the hook in, you put the yarn around, and then you pull the yarn up and you loop it through. It's a good way to attach hair.
Oh, huh,
So,
that's good to know.
yeah.
What projects are you currently working on or have recently finished?
So I recently finished projects in the other room. I recently finished a small crochet bird that was a trophy from a video game. I made it for one of my partner's cosplays that he's going to do for GalaxyCon. From the video game Blueprints.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I know that
Yeah.
game.
So do you know the Dare Bird trophy? The little
No.
penguin trophy with the
Oh
swimsuit?
yeah,
I made the Dare Bird.
that's so
And
cool.
he's gonna have the bird like as a I put a carabiner on it and he's gonna put it on his outfit. Um, yeah, so I made that recently, and now I'm currently working on a wolf for whenever somebody gets knighted. That's our knighting gift is a wolf. And then next on my docket is gonna be a baby dragon for someone in Amtgard who recently had a child. So,
Oh, that's so sweet.
yeah.
Oh, that is absolutely lovely.
Yeah. And then
So,
someone commissioned pill-shaped throwies with a um, pill bottle spell ball holder bag.
my
I'm excited
gosh,
to start that.
that's please take pictures of these things. I
Oh
would
yeah.
absolutely love to see them.
Yeah. I usually will post them like on my Facebook. I have like a crochet album and stuff like that. So.
Is there a dream project that you hope to do someday?
Um, I do want to crochet a couple of pieces of clothing for
Oh,
myself. I just haven't gotten to them yet. Um, like I said, one of my plans is I really would like to crochet, like latch hook an award for somebody. And then I think those are all I'm thinking of right now.
yeah.
There's probably more, but
So, is there an
yeah.
art or craft that you'd like to try out someday?
I do need to do some chainmail that I keep avoiding studiously. I in our belt line there is a tradition of you make a quote knight's chain that you keep on your belt to feel the weight of out of a metal that is straw heavier than aluminum, so that you feel the weight of knighthood.
Oh,
I think this is a very cool tradition. I have done chainmail a few times for classes. Speaking of cats, um, the I've done it a few times for classes. It's been enjoyable, but I haven't done anything with steel rings yet. I've never really finished a chainmail project or anything, so I've just been like, I'll get to it later.
that
So,
is a super cool tradition, though.
oh yeah, I really like it.
Yeah. So, um, do you prefer to teach or attend classes about like regarding A&S? Also, do you prefer classes with more practical skills like sewing or cooking, or creative ones like storytelling, painting, etc.?
I am a lifelong learner. I much prefer to go to classes. I don't think the best teacher. I think I'm okay at teaching. Um, but I much prefer to go to classes and learn new skills. And I will learn about pretty much any skill except fighting. Fighting's not my thing.
Yeah, I I can't really do fighting that much.
Yeah.
Maybe very occasionally if I'm like in the back, letting
Yeah.
other people like do the main fighting.
Yeah, if I could do like a long distance healer, the problem is like if I get migraines and if I were to get hit wrong, it could
Oh,
trigger a migraine. So that's the problem. Um, yeah.
yeah, yeah, I can definitely see how that would be a big issue. Yeah.
Yeah, and now I also have vertigo on top of it. So if I could be like just a long distance wizard, yeah, with like a sash that says "Don't hit me," just come within a couple feet of me and then I'm dead. So, or something like that. That'd work.
Yeah. And then, do you have a favorite ANS tourney style? How would you like to see ANS competition expanded in the game?
Okay. Um, it's not, so I don't know if I have a particular style that I like best, but I don't really like best of the best. It's more that I
Hmm.
have one I like the least. I like the idea of best, certain elements of best of the best I like. I really like that for seven and up, people get to do a presentation because we actually get to talk to the person about what they're doing and why they did it. And some people do just a lot better presentation when it's them talking about their art or them wearing their art if they're a garber and they're showing it off on the body. um, that can be tends to be a lot better than just a piece of paper explaining what they did. So I love that element of it. But what I don't like about Best of the Best is that we end up putting a really well-made Madu weapon, which is a combination shield and sword, against some really, really beautifully made garb. And somehow we're supposed to be able to decide which is better eventually.
Yeah.
Like, and you start off with stuff that's similar and it's easy, but then you get up in there and you're like, no, this is weird. And so I don't like that aspect of it. Um, but so what I think honestly I would love to have more of in ANS is the option for people to talk about their work
Hmm.
or to give a presentation instead of a write-up. I think that might be more accessible for people, um, and it might be um, better for judges.
Yeah,
I think
especially
that could be a great way to expand it.
yeah, especially if like you do a specific um art medium that
Yeah.
the judges don't really know about, like
Yes.
being able to be
Yes.
straightforward about, what you messed up on, what you could have done better, how you did
Yeah.
it, etc. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that could be a really good way to do it.
Yeah, I would actually love to see more of that. I'm going to think on that for a little bit, actually.
Yeah.
That's
Because when I
solid.
did Best of the Best in March last year, that I really loved that aspect of Best of the Best. When we had people talk about it. That was the part I loved.
So now I'd like to talk about role play and your persona.
Yeah.
So is your character Rowena, is she more of a pen name for you, or is there a big difference between you and your Amtgard character?
Oh no, she's totally self-insertion. She's totally self-insertion. I'm not even gonna pretend that's not what she is.
Valid, same with me. I mean, so how'd you come up with your character's name?
So my character's name is from do you I don't know if you were in fanfic at all, into fan fiction at all in the like 2000s, early 2000s. But if you were a person who wrote a lot of fan fiction, you could use a website called fantasynames.net to like look up names.
I use that for like
And
D&D characters sometimes.
yeah, and so I would look up Romanian names because my dad liked to tell me that we're descended from descended from vampires,
That's
because we're
cute.
Transylvanian. So I would look up Transylvanian names for the characters I was writing in fan fiction, and Rowena was one of those names, and it just stuck with me. So if she became Rowena, and my favorite writer at the time was Alexander Dumas, so I did Rowena Dumas.
That is super cool. Oh my gosh. That is amazing. And how you're able to like tie that in, with your real life family.
Mm.
That's super adorable.
Mm.
So, does your character have a backstory or anything?
She
Or
does.
I'd love to, yeah.
So Rowena was cast out of hell because on her last succubus summon, she was imprisoned by a human,
Um,
and that is unconscionable for a concubus. It's fine if you are on a, like, if you're there for a long time, it is unconscionable if you become a human's toy, or you are imprisoned by them. If you become come under their power. And she came under her person's power, the person who summoned her's power. So she was cast out of hell and into Amtgardia. She was cast into a random realm, and it just happened to be Amtgardia. And she could not return to hell until she had regained control over her powers again and assumed her power.
oh,
So she appeared just kind of as a ravenous beast almost outside on the outskirts of Blackfire Pass. Um, and initially was killing people left and right because as a succubus with no control, that's what you do a little bit. Until she was found by Brill and Fayrain, and they were able to subdue her because they're much more powerful. And then as she came back to herself, she became a waitress first at Brill's Shady Oak Tavern.
oh,
And she worked her way, because she's a succubus, she's charming. She has all those skills. She then became the bar, the she became the bartender. And then when Brill and Fayrain went to Observatory Arcanum, the one-eyed Rook Tavern was left in her care, and now it is Rowena's tavern.
oh, that's really cool. And I also
Mhm.
really like how you included others in your backstory too.
Mhm.
That's pretty. So, do you prefer, and my final one for my final question for this one, do you prefer a static RP role where you know exactly what to say and do, or do you prefer a role where you can improv?
I prefer a little bit of both. I like to know kind of like who I'm supposed to be because that gives me a stuff to improv from. I'm not a person who can improv on the spot very well. I need a place to come from. I like having a little bit of flexibility to come up with stuff, but I definitely need a role to play from.
Yeah,
Unless
that's
I'm supposed to just be Rowena, which means be me. A little bit more emphasized, though. Certain parts, but more emphasized. So,
that's really cool. I'm kind of the same way, yeah.
mhm.
So now I'm going to ask you some questions about Paragon Color.
Sure.
So, what does receiving Paragon Color mean to you personally?
Um, well, it was a complete surprise. I had no idea I was getting it. So the it really meant a lot when I got it. Um, so I think it really means that my my role, the energy that I put into being a non-combatant and support person in the game was recognized. That was what it meant to me and what it still means to me. So, uh, that's ultimately what I think it is to me.
How do you define excellence in non-combat contributions?
So defining one of the biggest things I think for that non-coms need to have is that they need to be some of those people that you can be, doesn't it? Um, that people can point you can point a new player to, and you need to be a friendly face for Amtgard. And I would definitely say similar a way that makes being a Paragon color different from being a Paragon wizard or something like that is we're not specialized typically. But it's not like we don't just hone in on a specific set of spells or battle rules for our specific role. A a color can be a person who is a good leader in office, who is a person who focuses on volunteering, a person who focuses on excellent non-combat. Reaving can be non-com. So there's a good thing to know is that whatever you choose to do in for color, do that well, is I think what I should say on that. And ultimately, you want to make sure that whatever you're doing is that you are a friendly face to any new players in the game or any player that has less experience than you, and be ready to help any other players. I think that's one of the
Yeah.
big essentials of non-com.
Oh yeah, of course. Like, definitely. So, do you feel non-combat paths, such as paths related to service and ANS, are as visible and respected as combat ones?
Uh, my first honest answer is no, but it just also just depends who you're talking to be honest.
Yeah.
Because different parts of the game are honest, that's a much more complicated, there's a more complicated answer because different parts of the game are more visible to other people. So, you have you have a lot of people who see combat and non-combat roles as equally important. And a lot of those people are people who are on the field and and they're like, yeah, without our volunteers and our non-combat people, we're just a bunch of people standing in the field. It's something I've heard one of them say. Um, but then there's others who have the opinion of, yeah, 80% of people are just here for combat. It's not just about hitting people with sticks, guys.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's the thing. Like, non-combatants, all the volunteers who crat and stuff, they're technically non-combatants, right? Like,
Yes.
they're
Yes.
facilitating all this stuff, including the smiths, you
Yep.
know. So it's one of those things of I would really love to see more support
Yeah.
for non-combat. And if you have any insights on support for non-com people, that'd be really cool.
Honestly, the support has to come from us. So people like Pip, people like Skiffy, Alia, even, uh, the non-combat support really just, we need to continue to, it's exhausting, but we need to get loud. We need to continue to just be loud, and to take up space as non-combatants. Um, And one of the cool things, honestly, that's great is like we have the Tooth and Hookah, we have the hydration station. When Birdie has made Birdie was a newer person to our park at BFP. Her first event was she did a little med site, and that was really great. So it's making ourselves more visible, and so we just need to keep doing that. And then. I think if we can, we want to probably ask autocrats of events, like, hey, what non-com events are there at this event? As a not, besides like just volunteering or anything like that. Because that's what I liked about Bridge Wars was even though it's usually a more combat focused event, uh, Nemia still tried to make sure that there were classes available. We had the Iron Dragon arts competition and stuff like that. So even though like the classes were not highly attended, there was the option was still there for people if they
Yeah,
wanted it. And I think offering that is very good.
and I 100% agree. Well,
So,
um, what responsibilities come with being recognized for non-combatant contributions?
so responsibilities that come with being recognized for non-combat. Um, Definitely continuing to be willing and able. Eh, And, but also along with that, making sure you take your own time to rest. A lot of us like to go, 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 and we burn ourselves out. Don't do that. It's
Yeah,
hard. Don't do that. Especially when other people don't step up, it's very hard. Um, so,
yeah,
but that's probably the biggest thing is that having received the Paragon color, um, you know that people are gonna like ideally when you receive a paragon of any kind, you're being recognized as a person people can come to for help because you are considered I think it's you're being considered an expert at X. If you're a paragon archer, you're a paragon assassin, you're a paragon color, people are going to come to you wanting support on that thing.
yeah. So, and you said that you weren't a mentor earlier, which is kind of.
I just don't always see myself as one. I find it very
I'm just saying, I think you might be more of a mentor than you realize. You're really cool. So,
thanks. I think it's just I don't actively like to step into the limelight, so I don't typically see myself in that role.
mhm. And continuing from your advice earlier about not burning yourself out, as a final question,
Yeah.
for Paragon Color, what advice would you give to someone pursuing Paragon Color?
Okay. So for pursuing Paragon Color, okay, here's the complicated thing. I said I received my Paragon Color as a complete surprise. I mean that. I was aware that Paragon Color was a thing. It was not something I was actively pursuing. So asking me how to get Paragon Color or what to do for Paragon Color is not a great question. Um, because yeah, uh, but one of the things I think I can say is that like when people reach out for help or saying, "Hey, I need volunteers for X thing. Do you know who might be available?" Trying to help coordinate across that sort of thing, exercising your network to help other people. I can say that's probably one of the things I did, because that's something I just do a lot in my professional life and and just outside of Amtgard, and I try to do it inside of Amtgard too. Um, so try to do like doing that can really help people. Um, so and just really trying to continue like exercising your skills um in the non-com realm.
That's awesome. That's awesome insight. Thank you, especially about networking. Uh,
Yeah. And honestly, the networking part is as simple as, oh, you need X. I know a person who has X. Let me get you that person. And that's honestly something I've just done a lot.
yeah, I'm sorry. I also
Kitty!
have a cat.
Well, you saw my one of mine earlier.
Yeah, this is Spice. He's annoyed because I was like, he's not used to daylight savings time,
Oh yeah.
so he thinks it's his dinner
It's
time.
bedtime.
It's
Oh, dinner
not.
time. Yep.
So yeah, sorry.
My goodness. Orange.
Yes, he's very orange. Him and his brother are both orange boys, and he
He
will just
is.
continue. So, like him.
Yeah, I very much have a tabby with the lack of brain cell.
Yeah, he
He's
just
our
got.
honorary orange cat because he has no brain.
Yeah, this one has no brain except for when it comes to food, but he also just knocked a keyboard on the floor. So sorry about that. I'm not sure if you heard that crash in the background.
You're all good.
But yeah, networking definitely, especially since Amtgard's a social club, like it makes sense, but like a
Yes.
lot of people don't think about. Okay, now this is too much.
It's attention time. I was a little surprised Frankie didn't do that earlier.
Well, like I saw Frankie's tail like
Yeah.
just across
Yeah,
the
he
screen.
usually likes to be like right up here. So I was a little surprised he didn't do that.
Yeah, but sorry about the cat.
Oh, you're fine.
So now I want to talk. Now, if you'd like to, I'd like to talk to you about the community and culture
Sure.
of Amtgard and maybe any memorable moments you have.
Okay.
It's something I like to do kind of before, as we close
Yeah.
in. So, what cultural aspects keep you coming back to Amtgard?
What culture aspects keep me coming back? It's where a lot of my friends happen to be, to be honest. I have friends outside of Amtgard, but a lot of my friends also happen to be in Amtgard as well. So it's an easy way to connect with those friends, especially when they're friends who live farther away. We then see each other at Kingdom events, at Midgard events, so it's really that's really good. Um, so, and I think, and the initial thing that actually got me into Amtgard is, ooh, I can wear my Ren Fair outfits all year round. Perfect. So that is probably one of the bigger things I that has kept me there is I really like having the excuse to dress up in fun outfits all year round. Doing that once a week is really helpful. I love it.
Yeah,
So,
I really enjoy it, especially around Halloween. And you're just like, oh, I
yes.
get to wear my fancy Ren Fair outfits and go give out candy to kids. It's
Yes.
awesome.
It makes it really easy around Halloween. Oh, wait, which thing am I doing? Which part of the costumes? Okay, here.
So, do you prefer park days or bigger camping events?
Both have their benefits. I actually really like both. Um, so park days because it's close, it's easy. If I'm ha not having a great day due to pain or something like that, it's easy to leave. Um, I don't have to feel too guilty about that. Um, And there's a few people at my park locally who have trouble getting to bigger events, which I think a lot of people have. So it's good to see them at the smaller stuff, at the regular park days. Um, and then I like bigger events because, oh, I get to spend, it's a little mini vacation. I get to take a few days off work usually and go stay either in the hotel or camp. And then I get to see people usually from around a couple of states away who I haven't seen for very long. And or haven't seen in a long time, and we get to spend a few days together just being geeks, playing dress up in the woods. I have the t-shirt that says that.
That's so cool.
So,
I want to get like more shirts that show my nerdy side, but like
yes.
it's either Ren Fair outfits full stop or just regular clothing.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
I bought that shirt from the Kamikaze Fireflies at Ren Fair a few years ago, and
oh,
I wear it to every Amtgard event usually as like one of my we're going to Amtgard or coming back from.
yeah. I do a similar thing. I have a hyena shirt that I always wear when we're leaving. Uh, do you feel the non-combat side of Amtgard helps build friendships and community differently than the combat side?
Yes. And I feel like it does because we spend more. There's a fraternity that forms when you're fighting, but there's a different type that forms when you're not on the field because you're spending more. It's not, I think intimate might be the right word because you're spent more connection time because you're taught, like when you're, especially if you're both in the trenches cooking or something like that, you're spending more time together doing that. Or if you're on a feast serving line, if you're hauling trash, or even if you're just if you're judging A&S together, you're getting to know people, and that's in a more prolonged way than you do on the field. And on the field, you're definitely still connecting with people too. I'm not dissuading that in any way. It's just a completely different way of doing it.
Yeah,
So,
I feel like there's almost a different brotherhood when it comes to like being
yes.
at arms, with someone.
Yes.
Like it, you have each other's backs in a different way.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you have any funny or memorable out of field moments?
Okay, out of field moments. Because I have some really funny role play moments from on the field from when I've been doing that stuff, but let me think on out of field.
If you'd like to talk about
Oh,
those too, that's fine.
I do have some fun like game non-combat moments that are so at Origins, I have foam mugs. I have these big foam mugs and I'm my tavern I'm I'm Rowena at Origins, and I have my tavern set up and stuff like that. And so uh people were asking, what are we gonna do with those two big mugs? And I just clamp them together and I say mug fights.
That sounds so fun.
It was. And one of the non-com games we did, so Pip at the I don't know if were you at the Pirate Bridge Wars 2 years ago?
Yeah,
Okay, so Pip had the game that was two big fish that you fight, you whack each other across the table blindfolded. I brought that to Origins. It was a hit. And we're doing that every year at Origins now, thanks to Pip.
that is so cool.
Yeah,
Oh
it
my
was.
gosh.
I do it with a bread loaf and a fish. So people, and I just call it food fight.
That's cool. I like
So
how you change it up a little bit too to really
yeah,
match the tavern theme better. So
yeah.
that's really
And I
cool.
think last year we also acquired a chicken wing pillow.
My gosh,
Yeah.
that reminds me of how I remember there used to be this assassin back when Goblin's Hollow was a thing of incense. He had
Yeah.
like a bunch of throwies that were just food, and he'd put them in a picnic basket. You get
Yes.
like bread slices throwing everywhere. That's what
Yes.
that reminds me of. But
I
so
love that sort of shit.
I do too. The goofier the better. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah,
but
I can't stand it when people take this game too seriously. I'm like, really?
I'm like, I'm sitting here. I have a different name. I'm sitting here pretending to be the leader of a church that literally worships bread. Like, what else do you want from this game? Yeah. I mean, like, I can kind of get it in a sense, I guess, for like, because I know that some of the fighters,
Oh yeah.
like they have like whole like gym workouts and stuff that they do for fun.
Yeah. I mean, because you want to be the best fighter you can be, but like also don't take it too seriously on the field.
Yeah, especially with the word culture, I feel like some people take it too
Yes.
seriously and then they get disappointed and it leads to burnout.
Yeah.
So, what's something non-combat related in Amtgard that you're proud of doing?
Non-combat related in Amtgard that I'm proud of doing. I am super proud of how just the tavern has completely like just gone at Origins. I've been tavern and roleplay crat at Origins for about oh God. Uh yeah, I really have been doing that since pre-COVID. Oh fuck. Um shit. 18. Yeah, 19. 19, 20. We didn't go in 20. So 21, 22, 23, and 24. I kind of have to. 5 years. I did that shit for 5 years. So
Yeah.
I'm taking a different position this year. And someone else is taking over the tavern this year. And they've got some new ideas and I'm hoping they run with it. But yeah, we that's been a constant at Origins now for 5 years.
That is just like I never realized that you were like so big with Origins, so like that you
Yeah.
did so much with Origins. Because like I knew that you did a lot of photography and crochet, but this is just like really cool. So it's really interesting learning about this aspect of you as well. Like I've really enjoyed learning about listening to you, talk about your experiences with it and stuff. So we're going to go ahead and go on to some closing questions, unless there's anything else
Yeah.
you'd like to say.
No, we
Um,
can do closing questions.
yeah. So what's one lesson you've learned from Amsgard that you carry with you?
Okay. That it may take you a while to find your place in a LARP or a new hobby, and that's okay. If you spend a year or two just drifting in Amtgard, not really doing too much, not really trying to do anything, just kind of hanging out, it's okay. That's pretty much what I did for my first 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was harder for me when we lived in Medina and we were pretty much only coming down for Origins or the occasional park day at Blackfire Pass. So,
Yeah, but that's really solid advice.
yeah, because we were. we were near EG, but it just we couldn't quite make it work at the time. So,
Yeah, and I mean, that's valid. I mean, you have to do what's best for you.
yeah.
So, how has being a non-combatant shaped your Amtgard journey?
Um, well, I think it shaped my Amtgard journey because if there weren't non-combat roles, I wouldn't be in this hobby. Um, so, because if all we could do was whack, I wouldn't be here. Uh, the uh, but also I've been because of all the stuff we do have for non-combatants, and that it's helped me connect with a lot of other people in this hobby. I've made tons of friends, and if I haven't made friends with people, I've made good acquaintances, and there's people that I can have still really good conversations with. So, and that's really good. So I really like all the different connections that I've made with people over time in this hobby. It's gotten me back into camping, which I didn't like when I was a child, very much. And so there's certain aspects of camping that I like a little bit more now. And and then it's got through this hobby, I've done more crochet work because people ask me to do crochet stuff. So that's been really nice. I certainly wouldn't be crocheting as much as I do if it weren't for this hobby.
Certainly wouldn't be painting as much as I do if it weren't for this hobby. I
Yep.
feel that.
It's nice to be doing it for something specific.
What do you hope your legacy in Amtgard will be?
My legacy in Amtgard, if I get what, I honestly just hope that people don't think of me as an asshole. Yes. If I leave a legacy, I want it to be that she was good at what she does and a good person to have around. If I leave a legacy more than that, that's cool.
And finally, last but not least, where do you see Amtgard growing in the future?
Well, especially as we go for nonprofit status, that's going to be interesting. So I'm hoping that will lead us to having more options for better campgrounds to use. That would be the big thing I hope to see Amtgard grow with. The big another thing is I really want to see more people getting involved with stuff that's not just fighting on the field. We need more people to be involved with stuff like the site scouting committee to try to find these other sites we could possibly use. We need, I, life's hard, I get it, but we do
I
also need some people to step up on the back end to help with some of the stuff that goes kind of unseen. And that's I think what's going to help this. That's what helps clubs grow, is you need people willing to do that.
Yeah, sorry about that interruption, but
Oh,
I
you're
do
fine.
agree that I would really like to see more people assist with stuff like site scouting and whatnot
Yeah.
because like all those little things add up.
Yeah.
But, do you
Yeah.
have any
And the big thing is
other?
I need people to realize if you just volunteer 3 hours of your time at an event, if everybody does that, or if 10 people do that, then we don't have people who need to volunteer an entire day. Please do that.
Yeah, but, any other closing comments or anything before we wrap this up?
That was pretty much it. My rant on please stop. Please just volunteer 3 hours of your time so that way people don't have to volunteer their entire days.
That is an awesome closing statement. I wholeheartedly agree with it. Please volunteer. So thank you very much, Rowena, for coming out tonight and for doing this interview. I really, really appreciate it, and I've absolutely loved hearing about your experience with the game, and as well as being, a Paragon Color and someone involved in a lot of service, leadership, and ANS. So thank you very much.